you do have to be wondering, why do I go to Indianapolis, get away from school, stay up till 8:30 at night, and they bring in a professor who comes out and make it worse, an IT professor. How bad can it get? Let's deal with one thing up front here. I know it's late. We're going to try to make this good. I want to deal with yawning right up front, though. Because, you know, when you're speaking and you're trying to be engaging and interesting, and then all of a sudden, we start coming at you from different angles, right? And so it used to kind of get me down, but I've reframed it. That's a key thing to do, is reframe it. So if you feel a need or desire to yawn, I'm going to view that as a silent cheer for me. So if you just let it rip, because I'll feel very reinforced by that. Is that fair enough? Okay. It is an interesting project. In the spirit of full disclosure, John mentioned that an honorarium. John and I, one of our sacred values when we wrote this book is we would never make any money from it. So I was offered an honorarium. What I said was, if any of the chapters want a copy of the book, they can just email. We're going to set up an email. We will send you a complimentary copy that will be covered from the honorarium. But I want to do it in the spirit of full disclosure. This was written by a pastor and a professor. Okay, and my friend John, dear friend John, we've been friends for 30 years, but we haven't lived in the same city for the past 20 years. We're still very dear friends, and you'll find that happens as you go into adulthood. But he is a pastor, he's a Christian pastor, and so one of his concepts was to look at the way Christ dealt with his friends during the 3 years that we have documented history of that. Now, the book is very secular, but we look at that, and we look at it as a historical figure. And so if you want the book, just be alert. I want to be very transparent that is in there. Okay, is that fair enough? But that I won't be going there really tonight, because we're going to be talking about the secular part of the book, which deals with friendship. Fair enough? Okay. Friendship is something that has changed. We move around so much, we change so much, and it's even been cheaper because you can make a friend by clicking a button on Facebook. Right? You want to be a friend? Hey, I got another friend. Look at all the people following me. I got a lot of friends. Right? But we're talking about high performance friendship. And so we will actually be drawing from the book. As a professor, it's my responsibility to give you the source. This is the source. There's lots of sources within this. But as a scholar, you're supposed to do that. You know that when you write a research paper. You guys know the difference between plagiarism and research, right? Plagiarism is when you copy another person's work. When you copy a lot of people's work, that's research. That's you weren't talking about, I'll tell you a funny story about the hands. I was so honored that you guys kind of derived something that you could make use of it. I actually worked with the artist because I had this idea for the book, and I said, what I'd like to do is like a fireman's grip where someone's saving someone's life. And so she said, well, can you show me what you mean? So I said, well, I want to do something kind of like this. And she said, let me take a picture of that. So she took a picture. So that is me saving my own ass. But we do a litmus test for friendship, because most times people say, what are you talking about, the high-performance friendship? And notice that the subtitle of the book is a book for men. And the reason it's a book for men, quite frankly, men aren't as good at friendship as women are. Women will open up and share like you wouldn't believe. I watch our wives, John and I's wives, just amazing how they can connect and really get to very meaningful issues with other women very quickly. Men have a tendency to be activity friends, sports friends, and work friends. But, you'll see people working together. And in fact, one of the interesting stories, John, my co-author, told, these guys played golf together for 4 years, and they didn't know that one of them had gotten a divorce. I mean, talk about not opening up. And so we actually, the concept of making it a book for men is an acknowledgement that we need more effort in that area. We kind of have this gorillas in the jungle, beat your chest type of thing, macho, and not really opening up the way that women do in terms of friendship. And so we're going to share some perspectives on that. One of the ways we like to think about it is, have you ever been passing an 18-wheeler on the highway? And you don't like that feeling, but it's a 2-lane road, there's oncoming traffic. When you hit that throttle, you like to feel some real performance, right? Not an anemic response. Similarly, when you call on a friend or a brother, you want a high-performance response. And that's really the metaphor that we're using for this. And some of the things that we look for to signal it is a selfless act. And one of the greatest things to do, and we're going to talk about this, is, you know, there's things like it's better to give than to receive. It sounds good. But, you know, to really experience that is something else. And you have to be in a position to give something in order to do it. But that act is so key. Selfless acts are very, very, very reflective of a great high-performance friendship. Willing to share their innermost thoughts. You know, how many thoughts do you keep to yourself that you'd never share with a friend because you fear they'll judge you or they think you're weak, they think you're vulnerable? Trust is what is held dear. And John talked a lot about this, having your back. Would you trust someone with taking your girlfriend to the airport, for example? But that is a key concept of it. Support and forgiveness for failures. Friends are going to make mistakes. They're going to let you down. And one of the greatest acts is forgiveness. I'll tell you a personal story, and I'll tell you one about my daughter. She backed into a friend of mine's car when it was parked in our house in Minnesota. And when I asked her about it, she said, it was a little car and I couldn't see it and so forth. So I let it go. I had a new sports car ordered for a year. Right? And it finally came in. I came home and there she was. She wanted to go for a ride. I took her for a ride. She wanted to drive it. Now one thing I do is I require all my kids to take stick shift cars to school, because no one can borrow the car. When a kid takes a car to school, it becomes all of their friends' asset and my liability. So stick shift is my solution. So anyway, I let her drive it. She knew how to drive stick shift. She came back, we parked it, and I went in the house, and she got out and she backed her Jeep right into my car, parked in the same place that my friend's car was. And you know, it was interesting because as a teacher, I'm trying to say, how can you do it so small? I can't see it. And I said, well, can you show me how you back out? So she gets in the car and she does this. So she's backing out using the mirror, not looking over her shoulder. You see the problem? So I didn't, as an educator, I didn't find out what it was she was doing wrong. It happened the first time. But you know, when she came in the house, she just had this horrible, someone died, crying voice. And it was a great opportunity to show how much I loved her. So when a friend fails, and particularly when it's not done of ill intent, they just let you down. It's a great opportunity to show them how much you do care for them, that ability to forgive. It's a beautiful gift. Reciprocal constructive criticism. A key thing about a high-performance friendship is we're able to help each other grow. And we can't grow because we all have our blind spots, right? And so what we need is people who will tell us and make us aware of things. John and I were actually doing 2 days worth of interviews on the book, recordings. And so you've probably heard the old concept, take the log out of your own eye before you take the splinter out of someone else's, right? And so I noticed that John, he was starting to sound a little bit like he was giving a sermon, which didn't fit kind of the spirit of what we were going for. And so he was standing up because it gave him more energy. I was sitting down because I was lazy. And so I was just about to say to him, John, you're starting to sound a little bit like a preacher, right? Which is not his style at all. But before I did, I said, John, do you have any feedback for me? And he said, yes, your energy seems to be getting a little bit low. Well, after 2 days, it probably was. But he just helped me. You follow that? And then without having to force it on him, he said, do you have any feedback for me? And I said, well, actually, your tone is coming across more like you're delivering a sermon than just having a conversation, an intimate conversation. So we're helping each other. No offense taken whatsoever.